So before we get started, I just wanted to say that so far so good. Seems like everyone's doing a pretty good job, and I'm pretty happy with the way things are progressing. I know that you guys are a little bit overwhelmed and some of you are a little bit behind, so I thought this week we would slow down a little bit and we'll just do small sections of the Renaissance, and that'll give you guys a chance to catch up. So let's get started. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that there is a copy of the narration that I'm about to read, and it is on Google Classroom, and you can access it anytime that you want. If you don't want to access it, that's fine. I just want to make sure that you know you have access to it. Okay, so let's get started. The growth of trade and commerce. One reason for the flowering of culture during the Renaissance was the growth of trade and commerce. Trade brought new ideas as well as goods into Europe. A bustling economy created prosperous cities and new classes of people who had the wealth to support art and learning. Starting in the 11th century, the Crusades strengthened contacts between Western Europe and Byzantine and Muslim cultures. Traders brought goods and ideas from the East that helped to reawaken interest in classical culture. In the 13th century, the Mongol conquests in Asia made it safer for traders to travel along the Silk Road to China. The tales of the Italian traveler Marco Polo sparked even greater interest in the East. Food, art, and such luxury goods as silk and spices moved along the trade routes linking Europe to Africa and Asia. Italian cities like Venice and Genoa were centrally located on the trade routes that linked the rest of Western Europe with the East. They became bustling trading centers that attracted traders, merchants, and customers. So did cities in the north like Bruges and Brussels. Trading ships carried goods to England, Scandinavia, and present-day Russia by way of the English Channel and the Baltic and North Seas. Towns along the routes connecting southern and northern Europe, such as Cologne and Mainz in Germany, provided inns and other services for traveling merchants. That brings us to the password today. The password is swing. I repeat, the password is swing. The increase in trade led to a new kind of economy. During the Middle Ages, people bartered or traded goods for other goods. During the Renaissance, people began using coins to buy goods, creating a money economy. Coins came from many places, so money changers were needed to convert one type of currency into another. As a result of all this activity, craftspeople, merchants, and bankers became more important in society. Craftspeople produced goods that merchants traded all over Europe. Bankers exchanged currency, loaned money to merchants and rulers, and financed their own businesses. Some merchants and bankers grew very rich. With their abundant wealth, they could afford to make their cities more beautiful. Wealthy patrons commissioned, ordered, and paid for new buildings and art. They also helped to found universities. Prosperous Renaissance cities grew into flourishing educational and cultural centers. Okay, that leads us to the assignment. Real simple. You see this picture here. There's a Google Doc on Google Classroom, and all you have to do is answer those 3 questions and submit it. Questions are: why did towns become more important as trade grew? How did the rise of commerce and banking affect life in towns and cities? And how did the growth of trade and commerce help the Renaissance begin? And one more thing, don't forget to include your password. See you tomorrow.